Good morning. Welcome to the business news today. We're going to talk more about that merger between Clydesdale and Yorkshire Bank and Virgin Money. Under the deal, all the group's retail customers will be moved to Virgin Money over the next 3 years. It will be the UK's sixth largest bank with about 6 million customers, but 1,500 jobs are likely to go. CYBG said it had agreed with Sir Richard Branson's Virgin Group to licence the Virgin Money brand for a fee. More joining us now is Sarah Coles, personal finance analyst at Hargreaves Lansdown. Sarah, thanks for joining us. Lots to get through. Firstly, this idea that Clydesdale and Yorkshire Bank are going to licence the Virgin brand. Can you explain to us why they want to do that?
Well, I think the idea with the merger is not to create the sixth largest bank. They're trying to create the largest challenger bank, which is a slightly different thing. So the idea is that they bring the Virgin ethos through into the broader bank, so that there's kind of a focus on the customer service. I think one of the things they say is that they're not like other banks, so they try and treat people like human beings rather than numbers. And they've got things like in their 74 branches, they have sort of comfy sofas and Wi-Fi, and they encourage people to hang around and enjoy themselves while they're there. So the idea is very much to try and move away from the banks sort of trying to squeeze their customers and try and give this idea of a sort of a brand new challenger bank with a brand new approach rather than just yet another really big branch.
I love this idea of hanging out at the bank. So Virgin Money historically was Northern Rock, and clearly their product offering geared towards mortgages. Yorkshire and Clydesdale, slightly different offering. How do the products merge together? What differences are customers going to see?
Well, at the moment what we see is that Virgin Bank actually offers some very competitive savings rates. So particularly if you look at something like their Easy Access ISA, and they're offering 1.3, which is among the best in the market. Clydesdale and Yorkshire much further down on those tables. Now, what's interesting is obviously that they've had to offer these competitive savings rates because they've got this big mortgage book that they need to balance. Now, with Clydesdale and Yorkshire, they have much bigger savings books. So the question is whether they're going to think, well, we've got this large amount of savings, we've got enough, so we don't really need to worry about attracting lots of savers, and we can drop the rates. What we're hoping to see is that there's a commitment to offering competitive rates amongst the Virgin brand, and that gets rolled out. But we have to wait and see whether there'll be a temptation to cut those rates back a bit.
And those 1,500 jobs, do we know whereabouts they're going?
Well, it's at the moment the banks are saying that primarily this is something to do with the crossover of senior management. They're sort of very much talking down the number of customer-facing jobs that are likely to go. I think given the fact that the headquarters is going to be based in Glasgow, we can expect to see some job losses in Newcastle, and that's not just a blow for those people who are working for the company, but also a blow for those other banks that are based there. So if you look at companies like Atom Bank, which has actually moved to Durham in order to be sort of nearby this broader financial services sector, so there's going to be difficulty for those companies who are then based there, who are looking for sort of qualified, experienced staff, who, you know, if these people then move away from the area or move into other businesses, there's going to be an issue there in terms of recruitment.
And Sarah, will there be a concern over loyalty and branding? So Clydesdale and Yorkshire Bank, they have a very sort of local customer base, they have that local branding and affinity with the locations they're associated with. Do you think this is going to affect that?
I think they have a very different sort of customer from the Virgin customer, so it's going to be interesting to see how transfer over. I think one of the things that's going to be forefront of customers' minds is the idea of the fact that now obviously the technology is going to merge, and with TSB so recently in people's minds, there's going to be a big question mark over the fact that these banks are going to have to merge their technology. Now, we know there's not going to be a big bang, there's going to be a 3-year transition period, but I think a lot of people, particularly those who've seen some of the fallout from TSB, there will be this concern that they need to worry about what's going to happen to their branch.
Yes, Sarah, I'll be certainly at the front of their minds. Thank you very much for joining us, Sarah Coles. Let's have a look at some other business stories. A bit of doom and gloom from the British Chamber of Commerce. It's revised its growth outlook for the UK economy. It's cut its 2018 growth forecast to 1.3% from 1.4%, and it's also cut its outlook for 2019. The BCC says it's because of Brexit uncertainties, higher oil prices, and also fears of a trade war. On to more cheery news. Heineken, the world's second largest brewer, has announced plans to pour £44 million into the UK's struggling pubs. Now, the group's British arm will invest the money into around 500 of its 2,900 pubs owned by its Star Pubs and Bars unit, with the aim of creating 1,000 jobs. The money will go into traditional pubs as well as trendy pop-up bars. The UK beer sales in pubs have taken a bit of a knocking over the last few years, so they're hoping this investment will give it a bit of a boost. And Unilever, the company behind Lynx and Dove and other consumer goods, has reportedly cut ties with social media stars who have inflated their online audience. Now, you can pay for followers on sites like Twitter and Instagram. Stars on those sites can make thousands of pounds by promoting brands. If follows an investigation by the New York Times that found that dozens of TV personalities and athletes were customers of a Cash for 4 followers service that specialises in inflating celebrity statuses on social media. Let's have a look at markets before we go. Now, oil prices have made a partial recovery. Brent crude oil there, you can see. The market is fixated on a meeting of OPEC oil-producing nations on Friday. Oil prices have been rising since December 2016 when the OPEC oil nations agreed to curb production. Now, with oil trading above $70 per barrel, they are considering raising production. There appears to be a disagreement over how large that increase will be. Russia's talked about an increase of 1.5 million barrels per day, but on Sunday, Iran said it was opposed to any increases in output, so we're following that closely. Well, that's it from business. You're up to date. Back to you, Joanna.
Thank you very much. See you later.